Yo guys, what's up? It's Flop and Groper with another video, February 3rd, 2025, and having a bad open to the month of February here, guys. The February anchored VWAP, this white line right here, having a very strong recency bias over that year-to-date VWAP here. So without much fuss at all, the new monthly VWAP is able to push the price over that what should have been strong year-to-date VWAP support. Now it's resistance here. And this reminds me exactly what happened at the start of last year, guys. So the only thing is that it's the opposite direction. So last year at this exact same time, we put an anchored VWAP on February, and you can see a similar situation here where February had this extremely strong recency bias and was able to push that price over to the other side of that year to date. And it was a big run. So we had a very small gap between the new month and the previous month there. But that was an illusion of a very, very volatile move to come. And so right now, we're in the opposite of this scenario where now Bitcoin is breaking down from the year to date VWAP. And so this does put me in a very bearish bias here, especially with, I'm going to switch to this monthly time frame real quick. Look at that, guys. A monthly red dot now beginning to print on that monthly time frame there. That's huge. Obviously, it's not confirmed yet. So Bitcoin could pull something crazy out of its ass sometime throughout the month. But even if we did form like a new all-time high or something, we're still dealing with these crazy overbought signals, and they're not going to go away until we get like basically like a bear market. So this is the signals that we're dealing with here on the monthly, and so we got to kind of go in with a bearish bias on these smaller time frames here. Now, to give the bulls a little bit of hope, especially in the short term, maybe not in the medium or long term, but in the short term, I believe bulls have a chance to take the reins here. So what we need to see is a weekly leapfrog. So I'm going to go in my indicator here and I'm going to enable the weekly VWAPs just to show you guys. And you can see that we got a new weekly VWAP that spawned right here. And our previous weekly VWAP is all the way up here over 100K. And so since a new week has begun, it may become lucrative for Bitcoin to trade back to the previous weekly VWAP, which coincides with a bearish year-to-date VWAP retest. It also means that we would temporarily flip the February current months, like the new anchored VWAP, as support for a short while. And we would be pumping up into a declining 5-day simple moving average and that inauguration day VWAP, which is stiff resistance as well. And so while I believe that there is a weekly bounce off of this strong Trump VWAP level, this is that VWAP from election day that I'm always talking about, I think that this is a very good level for a short-term bounce here, that weekly leapfrog filling out, but I am still overall bearish. And if we do happen to lose the new weekly VWAP, guys, and this Trump VWAP as support, then we do want to go down to that previous Q4 VWAP at around 86,829. But it does seem like we're gaining some good traction over the fresh weekly VWAP. We've got a little bit of confluence with that election day VWAP. And so the weekly leapfrog up to that previous week's VWAP does seem quite likely. Now, you may want to take some profits at the monthly VWAP because this February VWAP feels like it doesn't, like you don't want to trifle with this thing. It's been very strong resistance. So very curious what Bitcoin does if it can come up to like 97K. If we break over that February anchored VWAP, we flip it to support. It's kind of a done deal that we get that weekly leapfrog there. So that's pretty much it with Bitcoin. Got some actionable levels here to work off of. I entered a small long on my BloFin account, and yeah. And so as for the altcoins, Ethereum here had a huge wick down, coming down to $2,000 psychological level, which was like an exact retest of like two previous major lows here. So we're getting a bounce daily, very, very oversold already here on Ethereum. there is definitely a bounce. And the weekly leapfrog on Ethereum has it pumping up to about almost 3K. So we might get some crazy volatility here on ETH. It might want to test 3K, or it could get snagged on its monthly VWAP as resistance. But it does seem like ETH wants to pump up a little bit here and at least test the February VWAP as resistance here at around 2,800 here. As for XRP, XRP got a very important Q4 VWAP test. Look, we came and finally tested the Trump VWAP and the Q4 VWAP. I've been calling for these levels for ages on Ripple. And so this should be like a strong bounce point. Ripple seems to have already come up to its monthly VWAP. If it has the weekly, if it completes that weekly jump, that's an additional 15% move right there on Ripple. But you are pumping into just a lot of declining VWAPs and a declining 5-day SMA, a declining year-to-date here. The year-to-date for Ripple being at $2.76 here. These are all stiff resistances, so I kind of doubt that we go over them. I'm kind of in favor of us going lower on all these coins based on Bitcoin's monthly reading. Solana also having a similar capitulation, hasn't come down to the previous year's year-to-date yet. You would think that when a new year begins that we would actually go down all the way to like that 160 level. So to me, it seems like these coins pump up a little bit. They get this weekly move, a weekly scale hunt for the shorts. There's a short hunt, but then we go bearish again from there. That's just my gut intuition and kind of what some of these larger time frames are saying, guys. So in closing, I just want to say, anybody who got wrecked or anyone who's struggling with your portfolio and stuff, don't worry about it. There's things that are outside your control, and you got to handle what's inside your control and just keep going, keep growing. And I believe in you guys. And if you stay followed to me and subscribe to me, then I promise you that I'm going to make you want to keep trading. I'm going to inspire you, and I'm going to stay consistent so that you are inspired to stay consistent with me. So if you like this TA, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.